Good morning, my friends. Brian King here. Welcome to Morning Tea. If you're watching me live, do me a favor and comment hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, please comment hashtag replay. And I know that I have a global reach, so please let me know where you are in the world. This morning's tea, recommended by my dear wife, it's a raspberry. Trying to see if I can vary it up a little bit because with the MS, my temperature regulation is really thrown off. And when I drink anything hot, I break out into a profuse sweat. And I'd like to avoid that. So we're trying this raspberry flavored cold tea this morning. So far, so good. Tell me what you're drinking as well, even if it's not tea. I'm always curious to know what everybody else is into. So the title this morning is Who Do You Think You Are? And where that comes from is I've been up since, it's a Saturday, and I've been up since a little bit before 6. Don't ask me what the hell that was about. That was not by design. I just woke up and stayed up. And I started diving into one of the books I'm reading right now, a wonderful business book called .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. I'm going to drop a link in the comments when I'm talking here. And even if you're not in business, it's got some amazing ideas about how to put yourself out there more authentically if you want to influence and make an impact. So I highly recommend you pick it up. Like I said, business person or not. And I tend to want to stay away from the idea that there are kinds of people, that there are categories of people. You know, you have in your business world, you have your disc assessments, and you're in an LBKJ, whatever the different letters are. Or the idea of archetypes, that there are these different kinds of people, and that's pretty much it. Because I'm a big fan of variety and individuality, and you're a unique variation on the human continuum, even though we know we're influenced by others and culture and so on and so forth. But surprisingly, thank you so much. What I was surprised, though, is I was reading some archetypes that Russell laid out in this book about what makes what he calls an attractive character, somebody that attracts other people to them. And I was surprised by just how fitting, one of the archetypes was for me. Now, of course, no one archetype explains the entirety of you, but what it can do is give you some insight into who you've kind of become, who you've settled into. It doesn't mean that this is who you are. This is a fixed state. You are never going to vary from this for the rest of your life. So when you look at it through that lens, it's not putting yourself into a box to identify with an archetype. If anything, it's kind of a sense of who you are now, where you've arrived at. And the one that really jumped out at me is when it comes to how people look to you and how you look to yourself in terms of what you provide for the world. Because there's a lot of pressure when you put yourself out there in social media like this, that you need to know everything. You have to have all the answers, and you have to be flawless. I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's morning tea. And people end up putting up this front, this facade, this impervious character that's just a big fraud, because we know that we're fragile human beings. And what Russell does in outlining some of his archetypes is that it's okay to show your imperfections. It's okay to be human. And I think that's one of the reasons I was really drawn to this, because of that flexibility, because of that vulnerability. Long story short, of the 4 archetypes that he put out there, I identified most with the adventurer or the crusader. And what that essentially comes down to is that I'm on this journey. I'm always experimenting with life and resilience and different ideas and different mindsets to see what gives me the best results. And then I share what I find. I don't show up and say, I have the answers. I know the truth. I am the guru. I'm the expert. Therefore, you must follow me. That's bullshit. There are some people that do kind of come off that way, and I'm sure you've seen them. That is not how I roll. The way I roll is I'm trying to figure this out. I've got some answers. I've got some solutions. They work for me now. Maybe they'll work for you. Give it a shot. Try it on. If you don't like it, no worries. I'm not that attached to it either, because I'm looking for the next thing that may work even better than this. So I want to encourage you to start thinking about who have you decided you are at this point? I'm this kind of person. I belong to this group, to this community. And ask yourself, what does that mean for you in terms of how you show up? Are you expecting yourself to be perfect because you put yourself in those categories? I was talking to a new friend recently. We were talking about the various religious traditions we were brought up in and how we can be sent the message that we are expected to be flawless, that we are expected to feel poorly about ourselves if we are less than perfect. Even if that's not the intended message, that's often one that's received. So think about the categories you put yourself in. What options does it allow you? What freedoms does it provide? How does it hold you back? And question whether that's a path you want to continue on. The puppy saw the cat. So that's just kind of some food for thought this morning as you're drinking your cup of coffee or your tea or your big glass of water or whatever it is. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. And by all means, share it away. Let other people join in the conversation. And I want to invite you to private message me here with any questions that you have that I might be able to help you with, because I'm here to support you. So let's keep up the conversation. Have an amazing day and weekend, and we will talk again soon. That's all for now.